A chaotic Friday in Singapore might have just turned the championship on its head. Oscar Piastri, the world championship leader, finished on top of the timesheets, but the session was so messy with 2 red flags that the teams barely managed to collect any crucial race data. And this is where the story starts to get interesting. With George Russell and Liam Lawson both crashing, track time was drastically reduced, and the teams had to focus exclusively on qualifying pace. What does this mean in practice? It means they're going into the Singapore Grand Prix practically blind when it comes to long-run performance on full tanks. Piastri, however, seems calm about this situation. He got straight to the point. Qualifying is so vital in Singapore, a track where overtaking is a nightmare, that he'd rather secure a good starting position and deal with the unknown in the race than the other way around. It's a high-stakes, calculated gamble. He's basically saying he'd rather risk the race strategy to gain that initial advantage. For a driver leading the championship by 25 points, it's a show of confidence, but also a risk that could backfire spectacularly if McLaren's tire wear or race pace isn't what they expect on Sunday. Did you see his confidence? He said, "I found my feet on the medium at the end and it felt good." Qualifying is a massive part of the weekend, and it's a massive part everywhere, but especially here. It's an all-or-nothing mentality that could define the course of his title fight. But while Piastri focuses on his own strategy, his teammate Lando Norris is keeping an eye on a threat that grows with every race: Max Verstappen. Norris was adamant that he's confident the driver's title will go to McLaren, whether it's him or Piastri. However, he can't ignore Red Bull's progress. Verstappen, the 4-time world champion, is coming off 2 consecutive victories, and although he's 69 points behind Piastri, Norris sees him as a real factor in this fight. He admitted that Red Bull seems to have found something since introducing a new floor at the Italian GP, putting them on the same performance level as McLaren. And when Lando Norris, one of the fastest drivers on the grid, admits that, we need to pay attention. He even went as far as to say that Verstappen is arguably the best driver there's ever been and can never be ruled out. Norris's analysis of Verstappen goes even deeper and reveals the scale of the challenge. In a striking statement, he said he believes it's almost impossible for any driver to be as fast as Max, claiming that the Dutchman was born into an F1 seat. That's a powerful statement. He's basically acknowledging that Verstappen was molded to be who he is, with a father and mother who are both racing drivers, starting in karting from a very young age. Norris believes that on a good day he can be better, but Max's consistency is what makes him so impressive. According to Lando, even on a bad day, Verstappen is operating at 99% of his capacity. This perspective gives us a sense of the size of the mountain the McLaren drivers have to climb. It's not just about having the best car, it's about facing a driver who, in the eyes of one of his biggest rivals, was built to dominate. We know that analyzing every detail is what makes Formula One so fascinating. And to make sure you don't miss any analysis like this, which goes deep into the strategy and psychology of the drivers, your subscription to the Formula News channel is essential. Drop a like if you're also feeling the tension rise in this final stretch of the championship. It helps us understand what kind of content you enjoy the most. And comment below telling us what city you're watching from. We want to know how far our passion for F1 is reaching. Your comment and your subscription are the fuel that helps YouTube understand that our content is relevant and recommend it to more people. If you really enjoy our work and want to give some extra support, use the Super Thanks button below. It's a way of telling YouTube that this content is high quality, and that boosts the channel in a huge way. And while we're fired up about the battle on the track, a fight from the not-so-distant past is threatening to rewrite the history books of Formula One. And it's not just any battle. We're talking about the 2008 championship. Felipe Massa has just announced a strategic partnership with EMW Global, a sports marketing giant, to leverage his brand and commercial opportunities globally. What does this mean in practice? It means that Massa's lawsuit against the FIA, FOM, and Bernie Ecclestone for the 2008 title is gaining a top-tier corporate and professional structure. This is no longer just a driver's fight, but a calculated operation preparing for a war in the courts. For those just joining, let's recap. Massa lost the 2008 title by a single point to Lewis Hamilton on the final corner of the final race in Brazil. But weeks earlier, at the Singapore GP, the infamous Crashgate scandal occurred, where Nelson Piquet Jr. crashed on purpose to help his Renault teammate Fernando Alonso win the race. Massa was comfortably leading that race, and amid the chaos caused by the crash, he finished 13th. The points lost there cost him the championship. The case was reopened last year when Bernie Ecclestone, the former F1 boss, admitted in an interview that he and the FIA president at the time, Max Mosley, knew about the fix back in 2008, but did nothing to protect F1 from a huge scandal. With this confession, Massa is suing for damages of up to $82 million. The hearing, set for late October in London, promises to be one of the most explosive moments in the sport's recent history. Massa has already said he will fight to the very end for a just and fair outcome. Ecclestone, meanwhile, now claims his interview was misinterpreted and that there wasn't enough evidence at the time to nullify the race. It's a soap opera that is far from over and could forever change the result of a championship. And speaking of history and the weight of past events, F1's own CEO, Stefano Domenicali, just poured cold water on the more purist fans. In a recent interview, he made it clear that a circuit's tradition and history are no longer enough to guarantee a spot on the F1 calendar. Did you hear that? He said that affection alone is not enough. Domenicali argues that new fans, the generation that came in through Netflix, don't care about the difference between racing in Monaco and Las Vegas. For them, what matters is the show. And this is a statement with a very clear target: the classic European circuits. Spa-Francorchamps is already on a rotation deal, appearing on the calendar only in alternate years. Zandvoort is on its way out, and even Monza and Silverstone are under constant pressure to modernize. This new philosophy from F1, driven by Liberty Media, is one of growth at all costs. Domenicali was explicit: history is a plus, but it's not enough. Tracks need state-of-the-art infrastructure, investment capacity, hotels, and top-tier services for fans. And that's where the problem lies. Historic circuits, often located in small towns and under private management, can't compete with the new street circuits, which are backed by governments and sovereign wealth funds from countries that want to use F1 as a showcase. Imola, for example, left the calendar because, according to Domenicali, the city has a limited context of development. It's the harsh reality of late-stage capitalism applied to the sport we love. The message is clear: either you invest millions to become a mega entertainment event, or you risk becoming a museum piece. And this pressure makes us question just how far Formula One is willing to go, and what might be lost along the way. But while Formula One debates its future and its past off the track, Red Bull is focused on one thing only: the present. And in Singapore, they sent a very clear message that the hunt for McLaren is more alive than ever. Helmut Marko, the team's advisor, was direct: it was their best Friday in Singapore in a long time. For a team that has historically struggled on the streets of Marina Bay, that's a powerful statement. And the lap times confirm that confidence. Max Verstappen finished both free practice sessions in third, just over a tenth behind the leader, Piastri. The most important thing, however, was the driver's own feeling. Verstappen, known for being extremely critical of the car, said there were no major problems. For the four-time champion, that's practically glowing praise and a sign that Red Bull may have turned the tide for good. The secret to this performance might lie in a single part, an upgrade that was brought to Singapore and installed only on Verstappen's car: a new front wing. And here we need to dive into the technical analysis. The team described the part as having locally increased cambers to extract more load. Translating from engineer speak, they managed to make the wing generate more downforce, which glues the front of the car to the track, something essential in slow-speed corners like those in Singapore. But the most revealing detail, pointed out by experts, is that they moved the slot gap separators further outboard. What does this mean in practice? It means this new wing was designed to work in perfect harmony with the new floor the team introduced at Monza. The front wing is the first part to touch the air, and how it directs that flow defines the performance of the rest of the car. This change suggests that Red Bull has optimized the entire aerodynamic concept. And there's one more detail that shows the scale of their progress. Verstappen, a driver who hates understeer and always seeks maximum front-end grip, didn't need to use a gurney flap on the wing. This tiny part is a quick way to generate a bit more downforce, but usually at the cost of some drag. The fact that he doesn't need it indicates that the new wing is so efficient that it already delivers all the grip he needs in a cleaner, more aerodynamic way. This is a very positive sign. It shows that Red Bull's progress on low downforce tracks like Monza and Baku wasn't a one-off. They seem to have found a balanced solution that works on any type of circuit, which is a very bad sign for McLaren. The Red Bull recovery appears to be real and sustainable. With this scenario, the dynamic of the title fight changes completely. Commentator and ex-driver Martin Brundle summed up the situation perfectly. Mathematically, Verstappen's chances are still a long shot, but psychologically, he has become a critical factor. Until now, Piastri and Norris only had to look across the garage to find their main rival. Now they have to constantly check their mirrors. Verstappen's presence in the fight adds an immense layer of pressure on both McLaren drivers. Brundle believes that a Verstappen comeback will depend on one crucial factor, that McLaren steps on their own tail. In other words, that Piastri and Norris start making mistakes or getting in each other's way due to the pressure of a three-way fight. Red Bull seems to have done its part, delivering a car capable of winning on any track. The question now is, how will McLaren handle this new reality? While the battles unfold in the courtroom, the fight on the track, what we're all really passionate about, continues to be as fierce as ever. And Red Bull, even after back-to-back wins, knows it can't blink against such a dominant McLaren. That's why, for the Singapore Grand Prix, one of the few tracks where Max Verstappen has yet to win in his career, the team brought more updates for the RB21. They aren't radical changes, but rather crucial fine-tuning. The front wing was modified to increase local downforce, which is essential for the low-speed corners of Marina Bay. Additionally, the engine cover was altered with larger cooling exits to optimize performance in the heat and humidity of Singapore. This development push shows that Red Bull has not thrown in the towel. While most teams have already flipped the switch and are focusing nearly 100% of their resources on the revolutionary 2026 cars, the Milton Keynes squad continues to extract every millisecond from its current car. It's a statement of intent. They will fight for this championship until the very last lap. And the man tasked with leading that charge is, of course, the four-time world champion, Max Verstappen. After a difficult phase in the season where the RB21 proved to be unbalanced and unpredictable, the floor upgrade at the Italian Grand Prix seems to have put the car back on the right track. Verstappen won there and won again in Azerbaijan, capitalizing on a mistake from the championship leader Oscar Piastri. In just 2 races, he cut the points gap from 104 down to 69. The deficit is still huge, but the tide seems to be turning. And how is Verstappen handling the pressure? In the most Max way possible. When asked about his title chances, he joked with reporters, saying he had a 50% chance, because either I do or I don't. That witty reply hides a focused and dangerously relaxed mindset. He admitted, 69 points is still a lot. McLaren has been incredibly dominant. That doesn't suddenly change. So for me, I'm not too stressed about anything. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. He's taking it race by race with a nothing-to-lose attitude. For Max, if he wins the championship, great. If not, life goes on. This lack of desperation makes him an even more formidable opponent. He isn't tense, he's just focused on getting the most out of a car that, by his own admission, hasn't always been easy to drive. The team's hope is that Singapore will confirm that the latest updates have put the car in the right direction, making it more competitive and, crucially, more predictable. Verstappen's hunt continues, and he's going to do it his way, with maximum speed and zero stress. And what a season we are having! From the seismic shifts behind the scenes with Christian Horner to the multi-million-dollar court battles with Zach Brown, all the way to Verstappen's relentless chase on track. Formula One never disappoints. If you want to keep getting in-depth analysis that keeps you informed on everything that truly matters in the sport, make sure you are subscribed here at Formula News USA and hit that like button. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Does Verstappen still have a shot at a fifth title in 2025? Your opinion is a huge part of our community. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.